Good evening. Welcome to MGTOW Theatre. With your host, I am serious. Today's topic: conversations with a younger woman, or why older men should date younger women.
What you are about to hear is a recording of a conversation between myself and a 21-year-old Indonesian girl. Everything you are about to hear was done with the full consent of both parties, myself and the girl. Because this was not an official interview but a simple recording of a conversation, you will hear parts of the recording interjected with my own analogy of the conversation as I saw it from time to time, in order to better get across the message that I am trying to convey. So, let us start, shall we, from the beginning. Alright, this is the question again. Okay, how old are you right now?
21.
You're 21 years old.
Yeah.
And when you were 15 years old, which was about 6 years ago, right? Like six years ago.
Wow, I'm so old.
Right? About 6 years ago, when you were 15, you were dating a man.
Mm-hmm.
And how old was he?
34.
34.
But he lied to me, man.
Yeah. Well, what do you mean he lied? Did that mean he lied about his age?
Yeah.
So how old was he really?
28.
What?
He said 28.
He
lied to me.
Oh, he said 28,
Yeah.
but he was actually 35.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And then
Why would he lie?
boom, 1 year after that, I know.
How did you find out that he was actually 35?
How am I find out?
So this girl, who is currently 21 years old and a friend of mine, dated a man who was 34 when she was 15. Or at least that is what he told her. She later found out that he was only 28. Now, although I was already aware of this relationship she had, I was unaware that her boyfriend had lied to her about his age. He told her he was 28 but was actually 34. But did that really matter? What I'm trying to partially convey here is that it is not that unusual for a much younger woman to date a much older man here in Indonesia and in many other parts of Southeast Asia. She was 15 and he was 34, pretending to be 28. The relationship lasted for 5 years, even though she found out he was older within a year of the relationship. And also keep in mind that she could have lied about her age as well. She knew very well that he was much older than her, and she could have lied and said she was 18, 19, 20, 21, 25. She could have said that, but she didn't. She did not have that fear. She did not feel that she needed to lie about her age in order to be with the man she chose to be with.
I don't know. I felt like, so fucking curious, And then I saw him to sign the paper. Then he wrote the date of his birth, right? 15 October 15. And then the year 19 74. I was like, what the fuck?
Oh, okay, so that means he's the same age as me.
Yeah.
He's exactly.
Yeah, I said what the fuck? I didn't know about that. Why you should lie to me?
So so he was 34 or 35.
I'm saying I'm really chill.
Did you say something to him?
Not yet.
Now recall how although she didn't find out the man's real age after a relationship of a year plus, she didn't question him. Even until today, as she said, she has never called him on his lie. She continued to date him for 4 more years, taking advantage of everything that this older man had to offer. She did not complain about the travel time she had to endure when he took her to visit other countries. She did not complain about the amount of money he spent on her for clothing and accessories. And she still will not complain about the amount of wisdom and understanding she came to embrace after being with a man 19 years her senior for 5 years. There are numerous advantages to both the man and the woman in such a relationship. I will go over some of these advantages as the conversation progresses. However, most of the advantages I touch on are for the men, although I do believe in a relationship such as this, both parties gain an advantage. The older man with a younger woman relationship, although it has been the norm for just about the entire time humans have existed, is something that has to be revisited, and serious questions need to be asked about its purpose and benefits. And though I would not argue that there may be some disadvantages to such a relationship, please consider the ratio of advantages compared to the disadvantages and make up your own mind. Then compare them with the same scrutiny as you would older women with younger men, as well as both sexes with relations of a comparable age. Those of you who have been in my shoes, both male and female, know exactly what I'm talking about. For the rest of you, you may have to wade through a lot of media-conditioned cognitive dissonance before you can meet me on the level of my arguments. But I don't blame you. In fact, I am willing to bet a lot of money that the most dislikes I get for this video will be from women, and most likely older women. And to the older women listening to this, just go ahead and look up the word taboo and get back to me. At this point, we can see that a much older gentleman exchanged his money and time for a woman who had just reached physical maturity, and she willingly accepted the agreement. Now, although the conversation you are listening to now doesn't include all of the stories of how that man spent so much money on her, I can tell you that I have heard all these stories before. Here is an older man with money taking advantage of his situation by luring a much younger woman into his lifestyle. And there is absolutely nothing wrong with this, because both parties benefit. The girl in question, until today, has never questioned the motives of the older man she willingly dated for 5 years, because the end result was nothing but benefit for her. We are talking holidays to different countries, clothing, etc., etc. It all comes down to the fact that the man was not just older, but he had money. Whether or not it completely benefited the man in question, that is yet to be seen. He, as we speak, well, he might be a MGTOW in the making. So what you're saying is that how long were you dating him before you knew that he lied about his age?
1 year and 3 months, maybe.
That's really funny, man. It's very unusual to hear about a guy lying about his age to a woman.
You don't have to.
That's weird.
Maybe for other girls, you know, like they're not dating the old guys, you know.
What?
Yeah.
Say that again.
They're not dating.
Who?
The 15 years old chicks in the world, on earth.
Yeah. They're not.
They would not.
They don't date the older guys.
The older guys.
They actually do. They do.
You know, like that old, you know.
Oh, so you're thinking that he's
too old, man.
So
for 15 years old girl.
But if he told you his real age, would it have mattered? I mean, really? Would it really have mattered?
No.
I don't think it would have mattered.
Yeah.
Well, and that's my point. Is like he didn't need to lie about his age.
Doesn't matter, man. Doesn't matter for me.
I don't think it would have mattered. And that's the whole point. Look, the girl that
I talked about that's coming here, she's 17 now. All right? She just turned 17. Now,
Happy birthday.
you know what?
Happy birthday.
Yeah, she just turned 2 days ago. But you know what's funny is that I never once lied about my age. Never once. I never once lied about my age. But it didn't bother her.
Oh, yeah, because like she's from the, village.
Yeah, but you're not
Villagers.
from the village.
Yeah.
So, but
The
for
chicks
you, it was the same.
in the city, it's like, they're arrogant.
They are arrogant. Yeah, you're right. They are arrogant.
Not me.
No, you're not. You're definitely not. But you're right. But this is the whole point. This is the point I'm trying to make is this. Regardless of the age of the guy that the woman is attracted to or not, or is willing to date or not, regardless of that, the point is this. In your experience, you actually did date a guy who was more than twice your age.
No more than
No, he was more than twice your age. He was 30.
19. Almost. 19 years old. 19 years older.
You were 15 and he was 30.
33 or 34.
34.
Yeah.
In the conversation with the girl I was speaking to, she tried to justify such an age difference between the man and the woman by saying that women from the villages don't know any better. However, my friend is not a village girl. She is from the city, and she too had no problem with the difference in age when she dated her last boyfriend, who just happened to have a lot more money than she or her family had. Now, what we are seeing is hypergamy in action. Of course, a woman of a lower class will follow a man who is of a higher class than she is. And in fact, her family will support the decision because they believe it will benefit them all. And they are not wrong in believing this. And maybe, as men, we should reconsider the concept of class-specific marriages as it happens in countries like India, even today. Well, they call it a marriage that agrees with the difference of caste. In other words, the rich marry the rich and the poor marry the poor. And this is something that cannot be argued in countries like India. However, it is often and frequently argued in countries like America and the rest of the Western countries. As men, we should maybe consider going back to this practice to counteract the prevalence of a hypergamy in our Western world. You know, the hypergamy that ran amok after feminism was introduced into popular culture. Do we really want to showcase, as men, our willingness to marry down at the expense of what we already have? Pussy is sold by society and the families that have them as something worth more than gold, or at least worth more than the value of your back and what it can carry. Here, in this little conversation, we see evidence of hypergamy and how it can exist everywhere, yet most men refuse to acknowledge it. Men need to reconsider their worth and understand that they and their capacities are far more valuable than a woman's cunt. And men really need to understand that hypergamy is a real thing.
Yeah.
Am I fucked up? No.
No, it's not. I don't think you're fucked up at all. That's the whole point.
Because I don't have a baby.
Yeah, that's the whole
I'm
point.
not fucked up.
See, now that's the whole point I'm trying to make.
Human.
That's the point I'm trying to... See,
Señor.
Feb, that's the point I'm trying to make with this whole thing, is that the fact remains that you willingly dated a guy, and although you might have thought he was younger, it wasn't that much younger. He was still older in your mind, a lot older. And you still did it, and you dated him for 5 years. And to this day, you are without child.
Yeah.
You do not have a child.
Yep.
Now, the point I want to make is that you said that a bunch of your friends who are the same age as you now have children, correct?
Yeah.
How many?
I can't count, man.
So
Too many.
A lot.
A lot.
Not all your friends, but a lot of your friends. Okay. A lot of your friends that are the same age as you have children now, and are a lot of those pregnancies accidental?
Yeah.
All of them?
Yes.
All of them.
Yeah.
All right.
Of course.
So what that and also you mentioned that their boyfriends at the time when they got pregnant were quite young, right? They're their age,
Yep.
same age or
Yeah,
close to
same
their
age. Yeah, close.
All right. So all of your friends that you know that did get pregnant was an accident, and all of their boyfriends were around the same age. You, on the other hand, the minority of, it seems, of all those women somehow end up today without a child by accident or any responsibility to that degree, and it might simply be because you dated a guy who was almost twice your age.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree with that, and that's what I'm trying to say.
So like, I'm mature since I was born, man.
Yeah.
Shit. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, the
I'm
other
not
thing
saying
is-
I'm a smart person, but like, you know, we have to be wise.
Yeah. Well, I definitely think you're mature for your age. But I got to tell you this, though. I honestly believe that your maturity is a direct result of your relationship with that guy. I think that if you had not have dated that guy and spent that time with that guy, you wouldn't be as mature as you are now.
That's right. You got it.
Yeah, which again enforces my argument that it's better for younger women to spend time with older men.
Yeah.
It's much better.
Now, here are a couple more points that support my argument for younger women dating older men. We heard in the conversation that my friend was basically the only girl among her school-aged friends that until now has not been pregnant, and more importantly, not pregnant by accident. As she confessed, all her friends who dated younger men for a period of time became pregnant, and not with the intention of doing so. Now, why is this? Well, I believe it is a fact of Mother Nature that women mature sexually, physically, and emotionally much sooner than men do. And it is because of this that it is a danger to many young women to be too promiscuous with younger men. She is ripe and fertile, while a man of the same age has little to no concept of what he is capable of with his hyper libido and premature sperm swimming in his ball sack. You know, one might conclude that men, or boys in this matter, need to be taught a lot more when it comes to sexual reproductivity. But that is another video entirely.
You know, that guy, my ex-boyfriend, like, I will always love him.
Yeah, you've got like a connection to the dude.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Younger women with their mature biological sex drives meeting head-on with the boys of the same age often ends in less desirable outcomes. However, when the same young women spend that time with older men, we might see a fewer frequency of younger women with unwanted babies. Now, I know there are a lot more factors involved when considering this kind of phenomenon, but I am simply touching on this aspect of difference of age between women and men and the possible benefits or harms it may have. The other point, which was not discussed in the previous conversation, has to do with the age of a woman and the probability of her having an STD or sexually transmitted disease. Now, before all the women listening to this go crazy, and consider that older men also have a greater chance of having an STD, I want to admit that you are absolutely right, based on probability. However, what you might not be taking into consideration is the biological and statistical fact that women, per capita, harbor a much better chance of having an STD than men do. And the simple biological fact for this is that a woman's plumbing is internal, while a man's is external. A woman's vagina is a moist cave of infection-loving consequence. A man's penis, on the other hand, is external, much easier to diagnose, and hanging out for all to see, dry and happy, like the tongue of a content dog, ready to lap up any sorrow you might have. Well, I'm sorry, feminists. You just cannot argue this fact.
Because of him, I got a great taste of music. Because of him, like I'm comfortable with myself. I'm confident with myself. You know.
Yeah, that's
I'm
the
so
point.
confident about because of him.
That's
He
the
made
point.
me. Yeah.
That's the point. And I think that's the point I'm trying to make, and I've been trying to make for a long time in my own mind, but also trying to build up the courage to say that. Oh, Ankar. I'm trying to build up the courage to say that to people that I think need to hear it. They don't fucking get it, man.
Yeah, of course. That is why I love to talk with you, man.
Now I would like to introduce to you a couple videos by another MGTOW YouTube content provider who goes by the name Not Sure. I will link both relevant videos below. In these videos it states, as well as backing it up with statistics, how women are the majority of carriers for STDs. If you don't like this fact, well, pull down your pants, look at your junk, and then tell me, how easy is it for you to self-diagnose an STD with your own eyes? If you have a penis, it's not that hard. If you have the opposite, well, you might have to pull out a mirror or ask a friend for help. You know, the fact is that women are far more likely to go undiagnosed for a long period of time with an STD and spread it to others in their ignorance than men are. I personally have experienced this type of difference between the sexes. I once had an STD called chlamydia, which I was able to diagnose myself even before a doctor confirmed it. And it was my self-diagnosis that actually prompted me to go to a doctor in the first place to prevent any further damage. The girl I was with was unable to do this sort of predictive diagnosis because, one, her plumbing is not visible, and two, well, out of sight, out of mind. In short, I contracted a disease from her and became aware of the fact that I had it long before she saw any symptoms herself or had the ability to warn me ahead of time. Further, not even a doctor could have helped her because she had no reason to call on a doctor in the first place. Yeah, out of sight, out of mind. If you are an older man, it benefits you to be with a younger woman for the simple fact that she has had less time to contract and incubate such diseases. It's called playing the percentages. For all my older male friends still living in Canada or America or Australia or Europe, good luck with that middle-aged divorced woman with children and the safety of your penis.
It's taboo. You know what it is, man? It's taboo.
No, man.
In society, it's taboo. It's very taboo.
Yeah,
For,
but you know, like they're same, man. They're all same humans.
Yeah. But think about it. Do you agree with me if I say that in society, it's very taboo for an older man to be dating a much younger woman.
Fuck society, man.
Well, I know, but do you agree with me? Do you think it's kind of considered taboo?
I don't think so.
No?
Maybe there.
Maybe,
think so.
maybe, okay, maybe I'm thinking where I'm coming from. Maybe here it's not so bad. Maybe in Indonesia it's not so bad. And actually, I think you're right. I think you're right.
Like, you know.
I think you're right about that, actually. I think that here in Asia, it's a little bit less of a taboo.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Now, let's recap. First, when I was speaking with my young female friend, recall the benefits she immediately concerned herself with. And this, as I said before, is hypergamy. As an older man who understands that hypergamy is a real thing, you might also understand that you raise yourself to a higher position within a woman's hypergamous radar when you are much older than her. You have more experience, more money, and much more to offer than a younger man. In other words, a younger woman puts you higher on her hypergamous list of possibilities the older you are. Again, play the percentages, brothers. More experience plus more money, well, as a result of more experience, equals better amalgamation of hypergamous age differences. Second, this hypergamous difference, which I believe nature dictates, also gives said younger women the advantage of maturing mentally much quicker than if she spends all her time with men of her same age. Does it not make evolutionary sense that a younger woman who matures both physically and sexually much sooner than a younger man can also benefit a stronger mental maturity by being with an older man who knows how to not get her pregnant until the time is right? As my friend elicited in our conversation, she felt she was a much more mature woman overall, having been with an older man for such a long period of time compared to her peers, who were all burdened with a child that they hadn't planned on, and with a boy who knew little of how to deal with such a situation. Finally, and thirdly, if you are a man, young or old, listening to this, truly consider the consequences of unwanted pregnancies or STDs, and consider how that risk is reduced when you lower the age of the woman you are with. Also consider how much more mature a woman can be if you give her that guidance. After all, younger women do not feel a missed opportunity in regards to having a child, much the way older women do. And they certainly haven't ridden the cock carousel for as long. So think about it. Reflect on this. This theater is yours. Be MGTOW. Good night, and I'll see you next time.
Cheers.
Cheers. You know what's funny is like,
And I'm still contacting him, man.
yeah, of course you would.
Almost every day. I miss him very much.
Yeah, well, he taught you everything, man. He taught you how to fuck. That's pretty important.
You have been watching MGTOW Theatre with I Am Serious. Join us next time for more insight into men and their roles in society today.